the crazy cross stitch lady. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome to my craft room. I am happy to be coming to you from the night before Thanksgiving. I just want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving before we get started. I am going to be cleaning on my house a little bit. I've got one area of the house I need to clean on, and I've, let's see, what else was I going to do? Oh yeah, I got to get some laundry done too. So I do have some stuff to do, and I have some papers to grade as well. So I wanted to get them done before we started on the Thanksgiving madness. So I wanted to go ahead and do this FlossTube before it was too much longer. So I've got several things that I want to show you, and I've got at least one finish, and I've got an FFO. And I have a new start that's coming up, so I'm very excited about that. So let's go ahead and jump into it. So first thing I want to do is thank all of my new subscribers. Thank you so very much for joining our little community here. And I would be remiss if I did not say something to my students. As you all know, or most of you know anyway, I am a public school teacher, and I currently teach 6th grade. So that's an interesting age, and I would not teach any other grade level. I love middle school. And I think you have to be a special kind of person to teach middle school. But I'm sure every grade level, they say that about themselves. But I have some students who have subscribed to the channel. They found out that Miss Preston has a FlossTube channel. So I'm like, you have a YouTube channel. And I know I've said this before, but these are some new students who have joined. And I told them that I would not be able to use their name if I said something about it, and they wanted to know why. And of course, with confidentiality, I'm not going to mention any student's name, but I do want to give a little shout out to my students who are new subscribers, and so I appreciate them joining us as well. They don't cross stitch, although I do have a stitching club, but these students don't cross stitch, but I think they just wanted to check out what their teacher was doing, and some of them are just, they like to watch this kind of stuff. So that's really cool. But I am very thankful for those of you who have just subscribed. Welcome. We appreciate it very, very much. And I hope that you get a lot of enjoyment from this, from listening and watching. And I hope this is something enjoyable for you to stitch to, because I know I like to stitch to FlossTube videos myself. So anyway, other than that shout out, I also want to shout out a FlossTube channel. I just started watching this actually. This FlossTube channel is Lori Holt. Lori Holt does a lot of stuff for Fat Quarter Shop, makes a lot of items for that. She does a lot of quilting, but she also does a lot of cross stitch. So she has a combination, kind of like I do, of she does floss tubes, but where she shows a lot of her stuff. But then she also does a lot of tutorials. So I haven't watched her tutorials, but I want to, because she does a lot of how-to stuff with finishing and that kind of thing. So I'm going to watch a lot of those myself. But if you are interested in checking her out, I will put a link to her FlossTube in the description below. Okay, now, next thing is I'm going to show you, let's see. What do I want to do first? I think I'm going to show you my whips first. So I don't have a lot of whips this time because I just haven't had a chance to make my full rotation of all the stuff that I have. And I thought, you know, that's all right. But this one, this is the Barn Sweet Barn Sow that I'm doing through Fat Quarter Shop. And I'm on March. So I will show you, I'll put a picture up of where I was before, and I think I've got enough room up here to stick the photo. And then, yeah, I gotta plan these things, you know. And then here is what I have. I'm trying to see. Okay, here. So here is where I currently am on the march. So I'm doing one color at a time, and right now I'm working on this one right here and just working my way around, and then I'll get to the middle part. So that's March, and then when I finish with this one, it'll go on to April. So I'm using the called for colors for March. They changed out the colors of the star for each month, and so it's all Aida that I'm using, and it's on 14 count oatmeal Aida, and so I've cut all of my pieces out, so now I just pull one out when I need it and start the next one. So hopefully I can get March finished pretty soon, and I can start excuse me, I can start on April. So let me put that to the side. I want to put these back in as I go so I don't end up with a royal mess like I tend to. Okay, so this one is tea time. And so I will show you again a picture of where I was before. Actually, let me show you, because I forgot to get my picture of the Barn Sweet Barn Sow, but I mean, it's all the same star. But this is my tea time one. So this is what it's supposed to look like. And now I will show you where I was before. And then I will show you where I am. I've got the bird done. So here's where I am currently. Isn't that bird cute? I love my bird. And this is done on 28 count mushroom Lugana. I'm planning on gifting this to a friend, and I honestly don't know if she watches my FlossTube or not, so that's all I'm going to say. I am going to frame it. I've decided I'm going to use a white frame, kind of like what they have in here. I want to frame it kind of like that, and then I will gift it to her. Okay, it has been a nightmare lately at work because the kids are getting so sick with either sinus infections or flu. We've had a lot of the flu going around, so much so that we were supposed to be in school Monday and Tuesday of this week, and we were only in school Monday. They decided that towards the end of the day, we were down to about 80% attendance, which means out of our school of we've got about 500. So we're looking at like 100 kids out, and yeah, we had a lot of kids out. So we were not in school Tuesday, so we'll make that up later in the year. But it did give me some stitching time anyway. Time I should have probably been grading papers, but anyway, so there's that. So I'm hoping everybody starts to feel better. It's going to be an interesting Thanksgiving, that is for sure. Okay, and then the one I've actually been working on, this one today. Let me flip it back to the front. This is called Stitch-o-Graphy, and this is in honor of World Cross Stitch Day 2021. And this is by Fat Quarter Shop, and it's I think it's Emma. Yeah, no, I think it's just, this is a Fat Quarter Shop original, I think. So this is what it looks like. Just a bunch of different, the different types of, like, it's got hoops, stitcher's going to stitch, needle, color key fabric. So just some really neat little cross stitchy kinds of things. So I decided, I was kind of going all over the place. I was hopping, like I started just to go all the way across, and then I decided it was going to be easier to do one page at a time. So I'm starting here, and then I'll go to this page and then go down. It's just easier, and I don't know why I was trying to go across anyway. So let me show you where I got to last time, and then I will show you where I am now. Today I finished up with the word needle, and I got the skein of floss. So here's where I am. So it'll be cute. I'm going to frame it and put it up on my wall in here in my craft room. This is stitched with Cosmo floss. And it's like the more I stitch with it, the more I like it because it's really soft and thick. And I don't know, I like my DMC, but I really like Cosmo and I like Classic Colorworks. I found that out too. So I like those. And I'm going to try some color and cotton. I've never used color and cotton, so I've ordered some of that. I'm going to try that. But this is on 14 count Aida, and this is Zweigart. So this Aida is a little bit better than Charles Craft. Charles Craft isn't bad, and you can buy that in Michael's or wherever. But the Zweigart is a little bit thicker. It's a higher quality Aida. I'm sure Charles Craft will greatly appreciate my saying that. And I wanted to show you, this is our, I love I can pull it out, our 2022. This was the Love to Stitch needleminder. I think I showed you that before. And I won that with our last Love to Stitch challenge. We just finished Witchy Stitchy, so I'm going to get the needleminder for that. And that one, I was able to stitch every day for the month of October for at least 30 minutes. So I'm very proud of myself. And so when it gets closer to Love to Stitch 2023, which is in February of next year, I have told myself I need to remind you about that, so that if you've never done one of these, I strongly encourage you to do that. They do these challenges just to, it helps you to kind of, if you've lost your stitchy bug, to kind of help you get that back, and just really encourages you to stitch at least a little bit every day, because we know how therapeutic cross stitch can be. And so it's just, it's a really neat challenge. And we post on the embroidery.com Facebook page, and it's a very vibrant community, and we encourage each other all the time, and people ask for advice on there. And it's a very, very supportive community. And I just greatly appreciate them. And so that's an extra bonus to, and you don't have to be a part of the challenge to be in that community. So even if you're not really interested in doing a challenge, just check out the Facebook page. I'll put a link to the embroidery.com, and I think it says plus hand embroidery. It's a long name, but I will put a link to that Facebook page in the description section. So if you want to check that out, you'll be able to. I don't remember, it's a closed group. You have to answer some questions. So just some basic cross stitch type questions to get into the group. So it's just so Dawnette knows, she's the one who has the group. It's just so she knows that you're an actual stitcher and you're just not some spammer going in to mess around or troll or anything like that. So the questions aren't hard, but at least you'll be able to see the first part of the page if you can't see all the posts. Okay, now I have a finish, and just so you know, I have stepped up in the world of videography because I have a ring light now. And so my phone is sitting there in front of the ring light, and it really wasn't very expensive. I was surprised, and it's a really nice ring light, but I had to turn the light down pretty low because I wear glasses. It seems like that light was wanting to reflect in there, and that's really annoying when you have the huge like rings coming into the light, or the glasses. So I'll have to toy with that a little bit. But it also comes with a remote, so that I don't have to reach over to turn off the recording. I can just use my little remote, so that's really cool. But I can do tabletop, or I can have it standing up from the floor. So that's pretty cool. Now we'll see if I can actually get it to face down on the table, because I'm still trying to find something where I can get, those really nice tabletop views that you can see on Fat Quarter Shop. And Lori Holt does it too. They have these really nice tabletop views. I'm like, what do you do? Tape it to the ceiling? I think some people do that. But anyway, I'm still learning. So just be patient with me, please, as I'm growing in this, and it's fun. It's a lot of fun. So, okay. So This is it's supposed to be a pillow, what was it called? It's kind of like a pillow slip where you slip it over a pillow form. But I think what I'm going to do is actually make this into a pillow. It is called Pray More, Worry Less by Pine Mountain Designs. The design is actually, this needle art is by Sandra Workman there. And so here is where I was last time. And here is the finish that I have. So yay, there's my finish. This is on 16 count Aida, that's in the middle there. This, everybody, when I show this, like when I take pictures to put on Facebook, they always think that I've done all this. This is how it came. It came, this whole little sham is how it came, and it has the Aida in the middle, and then all I did was stitch on the Aida. So I'm very happy with that. And I was able to get that sucker centered. So I'm really happy with this. And so what I've decided to do, because I'm not buying a sham, I'm gonna stitch up this end of it, and then I'm gonna stuff it with polyfill, and then I'm gonna stitch this side of it. So I'm going to actually make this is going to be the pillow. So I think that's going to work out well. So that is my finish. And then the pillow will be the FFO. And if you're new to cross stitch, FFO is fully finished object, which is, the finish is when you're finished stitching with it. And then the fully finished object is when you have made it into something, like you framed it, or I'm going to make it into a pillow, or whatever it happens to be. So I do have a FFO, and this is my, it's called Mir, which is the Ukrainian word for peace. I stitched this one to support Ukraine. Jacob at Modern Folk Embroidery offered this as a free pattern. He does that sometimes, especially, he's very much into supporting specific causes, and he uses his stitching to help support those causes. And so he offered this as a free pattern. So, you know, it's not a very big pattern or anything, but I stitched this. I had like a light blue 14 count Aida because the colors were darker blue and yellow, which are the Ukrainian colors. And I just put this in a simple little white frame, and I currently have it on the wall in my craft room. I mean, I took it off, I'm going to show you, but this is on my wall in my craft room now. So here it is. Oh, see, oh, there's the ring light. Woo! That looks weird, doesn't it? Let me see if I can turn it sideways a little bit. There we go. Now, at least you can see it without the ring light. Okay. All right, so there it is. Well, now you've seen my ring light. My secret's out. I do have another FFO, and actually you've already seen it. It's my Michael Jackson piece, but I wrote a poem about him right after he died. And so what I did was I ordered from Amazon. They had these, well, they're for certificates, but they're very blingy. These they're mirrored on the edge, and then they have this like sparkly stuff in the middle. And so I typed the poem out in some fancy font, and I put part of the poem on one side of him and part of the poem on the other. So I'm going to, at the end of this, I'll have a photo of him on the wall. So you can see he's like right in the middle of the empty wall that I have over here. And then I put the poem on either side of him. So I'm going to do close-ups of the poem so that you can read it and you can see what I did there. I'm not going to take all of that off the wall right now. Okay, now for stash items. Teresa Kogut, you all may be familiar with Teresa Kogut. Her little business is called Creative Whims, and she was, when I went to the Silver Needle Cross Stitch Retreat in the summer of 2021. Yes. Yeah, because we were still kind of sort of in pandemic mode, but you know, it was kind of like, a little iffy at that point, weren't sure. So anyway, they had the retreat in 2021. And Teresa Kogut was one of the designers who was featured there. So she had all of her stuff out, and we, because of the amount of money we paid for the retreat, part of what we were paying for was to get a package from her, but she of course also had her stand set up with all of her different patterns. And so I was checking out some of her stuff, and I'm not, as you all can tell, you've seen my projects, or you will see a lot of my projects. I don't really do primitive stitching. Now, I want to do some because I know that's where it all started. You know, those are the kinds of patterns that girls did, and they did samplers. So I want to do a sampler. I had started a sampler a long time ago, and 36 count apparently is not my friend. So it looks like I'm gonna, with my eyes, I'm gonna have to stick to 14 or 16 count Aida, or 28 or 32 count even weave or linen, because I was doing okay at first. And even with my Michael Jackson piece, it was 18 count Aida, and it was starting to get to me towards the end. I thought, okay, even with good light, I had really good light, but my eyes were saying, you're funny. So it is what it is. So anyway, I still want to do a full sampler, and I'm going to, but the count's going to have to be a little bit lower. So hats off to all of you who do 36 count, 40 count. Jacob at Modern Folk Embroidery even does higher count than 40. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So hats off to you. I will have to bow out of that myself. So anyway, whatever count you decide to use, it's all good. It's all good. That is my underlying message through everything, is you choose what you want to do. This is a hobby that you should be able to enjoy. And you know what? It's not worth it if you can't enjoy it. And I was getting to the point where I wasn't enjoying that particular project, so I had to quit. But anyway, going off on that tangent, because we're talking about primitive stitch here. Teresa does, hers is different. I mean, it's kind of primitive. Some of her stuff is definitely primitive. But some of it, it's almost like a mix of primitive and some more kind of modern stuff. So I'm going to show you a couple of the patterns that I bought while I was at the Silver Needle Retreat. And in case you don't know, the Silver Needle is an LNS. It is located in Tulsa, Oklahoma. They're not cheap. It's a really, really nice shop. It's probably one of the first, it was the first LNS I actually ever went to. So that was a neat experience to actually go on one of their retreats. But this is one that I bought, and you'll see the price on here. I paid $10 for each one, so not too horrible. So this pattern is called Snarky Cat, and it's a Halloween one, and I'd forgotten that I had this, so I thought, man, I could have stitched this for Halloween. So here's this. There's Snarky Cat. I think it's cute. And then this other one is called Old Friend, and I like this one. It's a little teddy bear. So a little teddy bear. Oh, there's that ring light again. I'll have to get used to the ring light. I probably should have taken this out of the wrapper, but that's okay. That's all right. There we go. Ah, that's better. Yeah. And this doesn't show the pattern, so I'll just show you Teresa's picture. Her picture's here on the back of it, so you can see what she looks like. Well, all right, so there's that. That's my stash item. And then I'm going to have a new start, and I'm very excited, but I found out something this afternoon. I discovered something that made me not happy. Well, I decided I'm going to join another SAL, and this is with some people who are in my E-Town stitching group, but there are other people who are joining as well. And this is called the Founding of America by Twin Peak Primitives. And so this is what the sampler is going to look like. It's a sampler, so I'm going to do a sampler. Yes. Okay, so this is what this looks like. Okay, let me back up a little bit. There we go. So it's got, who's on here? Betsy Ross, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and the Liberty Bell. It says Betsy Ross, it just has them labeled Betsy Ross, George Washington, and then it has, of course, the alphabet, and then 1776, and then it says T. Jefferson at his desk framing the Declaration. And then it has a border, of course, to it. So that, I just really liked that. I was very fascinated with it. I thought, if I'm going to do anything patriotic, here we go. This is a good one to do. It encompasses a lot of things about America. So we're starting this January the 1st. Now, I did a great big no-no here. I'm like, great big no-no. I thought that I knew what size this was. And when I ordered this, I also ordered my fabric. And I was so happy because for my birthday, my husband had given me a gift certificate to 123 Stitch. And I was like, yes, this is going to cover it. And it would have, except the size of this, because I'm using 28 count, it's going to be 23 by 32. Now, I typically will just automatically add at least 2 inches, maybe 3, just to be on the safe side. So we're looking at, I should have gotten like a 26 by, 35. I ordered 18 by 27. There we go. The stuff's not, now 123 Stitch has reasonable prices, but this stuff is still not cheap when you get to larger sizes. This is 28 count lamb's wool Jobalon. Now, I think we talked about this before, where I like Jobalon better than Lugana. Now, there's nothing wrong with Lugana, but it's a little bit thinner. It seems like all the Lugana I've dealt with has been a little thinner than the Jobalon, so I like the Jobalon a little better. This is my material. Okay, so it's lamb's wool. It's a pretty neutral color. And I wanted a neutral color because, it just seems to suit that. Okay, so it's not big enough. So after the steam left my ears because I made such a big mistake, I went to 123 Stitch and I ordered a large enough size to cover this. And then I reminded myself, look, you have plenty of projects that you want to work on. This is a neutral color. It will go with a lot of things. I have several projects that are samplers, and some of them, this color will suit them beautifully, and it will be the right size. So I just see it as I've bought some extra material, and at least the gift card covered this. So I really wasn't out any money for this. I am out money for the correct size. But again, I'm still going to be able to use this for other projects. So I reminded myself again, this is fabric that you didn't have to purchase that you're going to have for your other projects, where you won't have to purchase fabric because you'll already have it. So there we go. Sometimes you have to parent yourself. So when you become an adult, and I think a lot of you adults out here hopefully probably done this, You have to parent yourself sometimes. When your parents are not around, you had to parent yourself. So I've parented myself, and it's all good. It's going to be all good. But I'm still very excited about this project, and it's going to be awesome. So I'll be able to update you on that. Now, before I get into my crazy craft tip, if you are still watching at this point, that's cool, because now I'm going to hopefully be able to give one of you a little gift. I told you that my goal, I have little mini goals. So this first goal was to hit 400 subscribers. And sometimes YouTube will go through and they will get rid of the spam, or the bots that sometimes subscribe. So the number can go up and down a little bit. So I was kind of waiting to see if any of that would happen. But last time I looked, I was at 410. So I'm a little channel, but it's growing a little bit at a time. And I'm so happy that all of you have decided to join me on this journey in our community. So, I don't dwell on the numbers, but it is kind of neat to see more people joining. My goal is I'm not worried about monetizing or anything like that. I'm having fun. But it is neat to see that. So I said, if we got to at least 400 subscribers, that I was going to do a giveaway. I have not done any giveaways yet. So I'm going to do a giveaway. So if you're still with me, you're going to hear about the giveaway. I am not going to put the giveaway in my timestamps or anything like that. This is where you're going to hear it. So my giveaway to one of you lucky subscribers is that I'm going to give you a $25 gift card to 123stitch.com. And the reason I chose that is because, first of all, we all have different tastes, so I would like for you to be able to choose what you'd like. And yeah, I might have some kits or something at some point that I give away, but I wanted to start out with this. And 123 Stitch has some of the most reasonable prices I've seen with fabric and just any other little needles, things like that. Especially fabric can be so expensive. Specialty floss can be really expensive, but you can find all the DMC you want, Cosmos on there if you want to try that out. And if you're like, wow, I just want to experiment with some different types of floss, they have all kinds on there. So I thought this would be a really neat gift to give you. So I have to go over some of this stuff, like you need to be a subscriber, you need to be at least 18 or over. Let's see. What I'm going to have you do in order to enter the contest is in the comments, because tomorrow's Thanksgiving. At least I'm taping this on Wednesday night, so we've got Thanksgiving coming. So I want you to comment on there about something that you're thankful for. Just anything that you're thankful for. And just talk about how your thankfulness. So you need to have thankful in the comments somewhere. Don't mention giveaway. Don't mention prize. Don't mention gift or anything like that. Just something that you're thankful for. And then what I will do is I always try to comment on every comment that I see. I try to reply. So I will heart your comment, I will reply, and that way you know that you have been entered into the drawing. And then what I will do is I will take the names of those who have commented and I will assign numbers to them, and then I'll just do a random number drawing. And then I will, in the next video that I do, I will announce the winner of the drawing, and then I will just ask for your email address. Or I'll give you my email address so that you can give me your information, because this will be an e-gift card and that will be a lot easier. So let's do that. And as soon as this video posts, from the time that it posts, whether it's tonight or if I post it, tomorrow or Friday, the next couple of days, because it takes a little bit sometimes for my videos to post, but you will have 1 week. So you'll have 7 days from the time that the video posts to comment. And then after that 7th day, I will take whoever has commented at that point, and then I will do a drawing with those people's names. So I encourage you to enter, and I wish you the best of luck. I am excited about being able to give this prize to someone, because you know, I really am happy that you all are here, and I just, you know, I know others do giveaways, and so I just want to do a little something to thank you for being a part of this community. Okay, so the last thing is my crazy craft tip. So my crazy craft tip for today is that when you are, and I know I've brought this up before, but when you are using floss, and we're talking about regular floss, not like metallic where you might need to be a little more careful. But typically you don't want your strands to be too long that you're stitching with. So about 15 inches is about as long as I like to go. So it's like from your fingertip to like the length of your arm, or even to your elbow. What I typically like to do is I will cut mine into 30-inch strands, and then I double up to do loop method. So that gives me 15. That seems to be the perfect length where it's not going to knot as easily, and it's easier to control. At least to me, it's easier to control when I'm stitching with it. And it doesn't tend to fray as much, because the more you pull that through the material over and over, the more it can start to thin out and fray a little bit. So 15 inches is perfect, where you're not constantly having to start and stop your thread and change it out, but it's not going to fray and knot as easily. So that is my tip, especially for those of you who are just starting to stitch, because it seems like I have a lot of people who are either beginning to stitch or they're coming back to stitching. And so I'm so happy that you're here. But that is my little tip, is to try to keep it, excuse me, at about 15 inches. And then I think that you'll find that that will work very well for you. All right, so because I didn't have 45 projects to go through today, that's what I have for you. So I hope that you have enjoyed this session with me. I hope you've enjoyed being in my craft room with me. And regardless of what you have bought or did not intend to buy, or made mistakes on, or if you've had to do a lot of frogging, whatever it happens to be, I really hope that you are enjoying your stitching and enjoying this wonderful hobby that we have. So be creative, be blessed, and I will see you next time. Bye.